Yeah, it's not.
When you
I mean, I don't see it, but
So that's you right there?
Yeah.
You trying to, so you just should share, just share on your page. And, I don't know if you want to put a caption.
Okay,
But you should
Carliso
just share.
live.
Once you hit it, then it should be on your page.
Isn't it on the page now?
Hold on.
That is my
because the
page.
group is
Then
not
then it's
live
there.
and
So
not.
then come on now.
Okay, so tag yourself.
No, the social flex. No, we live.
Let's ask for our name. I think I have to that. No, that's not how you share.
Sorry,
Unless
Chloe.
you go on my page and share it.
You gotta get it right, bro.
Social flex is not showing live. Now, you don't have the time thing on it, do you?
What's the
Like we
time?
was going to tell live at a certain time, because you know if you set a set time for the live, it won't let us do it.
It was at 8. It's after 8.
Okay.
I added them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you do that, it'll kick us off. It'll ban us every time.
Everything was still the same the last time I checked.
Hold on, live. Next.
Mine's not even popping up live either, though.
Because you're gonna be on space.
Can't do it from here because we're doing it on
My creative space is
the calendar is on calendar. I would need to open a browser, which I'm afraid to. I'm terrified to do, but I'm gonna do it.
creative space.
And see if I can log in as the social flex and
Spread
force
out
it
and
live.
put my face out there. Thank you. That's what I started doing with the podcast.
So it just won't be live on my personal page.
Yes, it can. Just give me a second. Yes, just force it. I don't know why I didn't do it. We did it earlier, so why wouldn't it do it now? Acting out. Don't worry about it. I know how to finesse the system.
But even if you can't even do it there, can't you just reshare from her personal to yours?
No, it's not the. It's
It's a,
No, I'm saying you try to use that. I'm just saying, just if you
That's
can't get
not
that.
the.
yeah, it's more so we wanted to be in the group because it's not even live streaming in the group right now.
So you're trying to stream on all platforms.
Yeah.
I got you.
We're across 2, but we should be across like 4 or 5. Give me a second, because why did it? I hate when it does that. Give it to me for I punch you in the face.
Which program y'all using?
The Streamlabs. Is that what he asked? Is that what he asked? Oh.
I answered the question.
You didn't say you answered the question.
I'm looking him at his.
Yeah, I saw you, but you didn't.
But I did.
Because
Yeah, I
you
know.
take over spirit. I hate that other people.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to do that.
Easy
They're
to
not
use.
doing that. Choose another account because it's not the one.
So it's like reading the whole conversation.
Oh, he just said, and she just said, yeah, she was just saying, Mike, I. She was just saying, Mike, I. Everything he said, people can hear it.
Switch me to the social plus. I don't want to be the social. I'm gonna have to go through another one. You're not gonna be. Do it. Be pissed. Okay. Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea.
We can just do it from yours and just share it.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna fix it. Take me 2 seconds. 2 seconds to log in and fix it. When I logged in earlier, the social flex for the YouTube thing kicked me out of my original one.
Looks like gorgeous, thank you.
It just ticked me off.
Mind your business, what's up?
Corey, it just sent my, hand me my phone for 2 seconds. Great, thank you, 2-factor authentication. Hate you, hate you, hate you, hate y'all.
Hey, you gotta hate it, but you gotta love it at the same
I
time.
hate it. Absolutely. Positively.
It has saved a lot of people.
Hate it. Yep. I for one.
Guest host of guest podcast.
It was not.
I'm on a podcast.
It's just tick.
Y'all just seen that I get this girl.
But you didn't give me the code, so now I'm, okay, I refreshed it. Okay, cool. Okay. Do I wanna do the social flex and force
I'm
the
really nervous right now when that camera hit on.
That's just how Oh my God. Technology. Mr. Pitts.
Thank you.
Come on. If you want.
Huh? You don't have to wait till the show starts. I'm telling you, man. You trust me. I gotta tune in.
Thank you. Took me to the social place.
The YouTube.
It's still not on there?
The YouTube is good.
YouTube is good, but we're just down to Facebooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah, which is fine, but not fine at the same time. It's not the, that's not even the whole point. One mic.
You good? Right here. I got you.
Okay. Open that and take me to the social flex. It's too hot. That's the only tie-up. I'm getting trapped right here.
They thought you had an update, huh?
Everything is
So they thought you had an update. You ain't charged. You ain't plug it up. Thought you said-
I don't
They
know.
can't fit.
They're just gonna be able to catch us live. So
Huh?
they won't be able to catch us
Well,
live.
we can open it, because I'll just keep trying while we start, and then the group will just catch up. It's up to you.
They don't have to, it's up to, I guess, we want a whole project no longer than.
Trying to get, the live stream didn't open on 2 of the pages, and we're trying to get it to open. I'll have to force open it from the browser, but the browser is moving slow. For what reason, I don't know.
Is it possible to have one that you share on the other?
You could, but It's okay, we can start rolling, and then as soon as it pops, I'll push it, and then it'll just pick up where it picks up at. Right. So,
It's not that I'm afraid, I'm just, I'm worried I make a mistake. But, and then just a good sign that I'm humble, that I haven't got too big on my high horse to think that I can't mess up. So I'm glad that I'm always heading forward.
Are we good?
I was like this when I got to YouTube.
Okay, okay.
I was like this.
Ready to roll.
I was trying to give him some time to pull up, I guess maybe he's
Yeah.
not coming.
I mean, I don't know what to say.
That just shows that I'm humble, that's all.
Alrighty.
Ready to start, okay?
Good evening. Welcome to the Social Flex. I am one of your social hosts, Flex and Guys, Sierra Tompkins. I'm sitting here with my lovely co-host.
Carlisa Turner.
Today we will be discussing love languages. We do have our panel today of beautiful and handsome guests. We will go through the panel and have them introduce themselves. Usually we do your name, what you do, your age, and your status. If you want to leave any of those things out, you can. Beautiful woman here.
Hi, my name is Raven Bean. I'm the owner of Shades of Beauty Salon located in Swissvale. I'm also the owner of Bella V Boutique, which is a lingerie evening wear boutique. And I'm also located in Swissvale.
Okay. Okay, to show your age, and if you're single, dating, engaged.
Pass.
Okay.
No, I am married.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Handsome sir.
I'm Dion, aka Lups. I'm your local and international Beverly Candy consultant. 15595. 45, married, kids. Yeah, and yeah, just come and have fun today.
Beautiful woman at the end.
That's you.
Oh, okay.
You like,
So I guess I'll give you.
wait a minute.
I am a content creator and influencer. I go by the name of Savage Royalty, where I own SavageRoyalty.com, and I'm also the owner of a talent agency for social media influencers, which is called Savage Royalty Entertainment. I've been in social media for 3 years. This is my husband. I have one child, and I'm 37.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
So today we will be discussing love languages and how they connect with you as a person. Again, this is non-judgment based, so this is basically your opinion and how it correlates to you and your relationships. To hop in, I'm not even sure if everybody knows what a love language is. So I think a definition would be the best thing to do at this point. Let's see if they even have a definite. We've looked and we've studied things. So I guess the love language is the best way that you express how love correlates to you and how you like to give it. I know I took the love language quiz. My receiving love language is physical touch. I love physical touch. I don't know why. And my giving one would be either acts of service or gifts. Yours?
I also took the test, and my love language is, I think on the high end was acts of service, and then, the percentages were different throughout the other ones as it moved forward. I think my least important one might have been physical touch, but I think that's just trauma-based at this point. I think at this point, I just like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Miss Raven, do you know your love language?
Yes, I took the test. My love language is physical touch. I guess on the other end, I am either acts of service or gifts.
Mr. Dion?
Mine is physical touch. I love to be touched, you know. And I was thinking about it before I came here. And I was like, why is mine physical touch? And I realized when I was younger, I didn't get a lot of touches when I was younger. So I realized that as I got older and started, you know, being out in the streets and dealing with the ladies, I was overcompensating because that was something I really was yearning for. But as I got older, I realized it. But then as far as giving act of service, I love helping people. So.
Beautiful young lady.
So as for myself, I prefer to give communication or words of encouragement or affirmations, and then I like to receive gifts as well as acts of kindness.
Okay. So I know I was in a candid conversation yesterday, and someone brought up to me, what if the love your giving love language doesn't correspond with the person that you are romantically involved with, or you're trying to build that chemistry with? And that was the first time I've ever thought about it. Sometimes we're so into the act of thinking that the service or whatever we're doing is nice that we don't think that it might be a little offensive to the person we're delivering it to. Because, again, like I said, mine's is gift of service or acts. And my brother was like, well, I don't like materialistic stuff. So if you buy me something, it's not going to correlate with me. So I also, like, through the research in this week, because I was pretty interested in this stuff, it said that they did a survey of 1,000 Americans, preference for giving and receiving love. We found that many Americans are unfamiliar with the 5 love languages. Only 30% of U.S. adults say they have heard of them. So throughout the world in this United States, only 30% of people have even heard of a love language.
Which is sad.
It is very sad because it also goes to the social thing. Like, how are you going to correlate, again, with the person that you're being involved with if you don't even know what your love languages are?
Right.
But also, I feel like sometimes your love language can be conditional on the person that you're with. What you liked when you were with this person, you might not necessarily like when you're with that person. So love languages have the ability to change. Like I said, I think the fact that I'm not big on physical touch anymore is trauma-based. There was a time I was hyper clingy, like, oh my God, just let me live in your skin.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, you good? Okay. Over here, buddy. 6 feet. Give it to me.
So I know another thing that personally I'm really into is like self-healing, like self-love. So I didn't realize until, again, like I started looking stuff up, that the love languages correspond with self-love. So when I did this, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So for physical touch, that could mean like giving yourself or getting a massage, a spa day, like a soft blanket. And I didn't realize that, but I sleep with, like I have a pacifying blanket, like
A soothing.
like a soothing, like a soothing. Yeah, so I was like, okay, that's what that is. That's me correlating my own love language to myself, which I thought was dope. Moving your body, I don't understand that one. I mean, in skincare, and I do, like, I have a really deep skincare regimen for some reason. I don't know why. Do you guys know your self-love language?
I kind of, sort of, but I think going back to what you said when you said a lot of people don't even know about love languages, that's how I began to understand them, because I did, once I took time to understand who I was individually, I then knew what to ask or what to require or expect from somebody else. So I did gather that I do like to communicate. I'm not really into so much of the touchy-feely because I like my space, and I think that comes from, like she said, with trauma and things of that nature. So it did take me time to love myself first to be able to communicate what I want from somebody else.
Now, being as though, I want to ask, because you are the married couple here, are you guys able to communicate your love languages to each other and how those things make you feel?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. definitely, we have those heated conversations or uncomfortable conversations.
Mhm.
Because we changed. That's the thing. Like Carlise was saying earlier, we changed. So what we like last year, some changes this year, how we feel or how we grow, how we elevate. So we definitely have those conversations. It could be at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or later, it depends. So we have that conversations
And
quite frequently.
And I think that type of conversation needs to be revamped in all relationships. And that's because through time, how you say that, people grow apart. And I think that's the reason why, is because over time you change. So we've been together for a very long time, but when we first got together, I wanted to be clingy. I wanted to be on top of him. I wanted all this, but now it's been a little bit different. And then I got older. I'm doing my own little thing. I become one with who I am individually. I like my own space. So yeah, we had to go through those, even through flaws in arguments, to learn that that's how we have to understand each other.
And it's crazy you said that because, as I was telling you earlier, my love language is physical touch. So as we went through certain flaws or arguments, if we were still just arguing, I just like that stuff, just to be close to it. I like the environment. I like to be close in that touch. So back when you were saying that trauma, that was stuff I grew up in. So even in arguments, I still wanted to be close no matter what was going on.
So how does that correlate with, because his is physical touch,
Mm-hmm.
and you're kind of like, you said you was kind of like, no. So how does that correlate with you?
It's weird. It's because I had to accept that any form of touch for him is good. Like just last night, honest, this is a true story.
That's real. That's a true.
But for real, honest, like just last night, I literally took my foot, the bottom of my bare foot, and laid it on his chin. And he sit there like he's melting. I'm like, why are you okay with this?
Yeah.
And he was like, he was like, because you're touching me. So I had to learn that I don't have to try hard. Just me tapping him, this is soothing for him. He likes it. So I had to, learn that I don't have to do much. I don't have to be all over top of him. He don't need me there all the time. But even me just relaxing my hand on him, he's okay with it. So it's just odd. It's weird. I'm telling you.
And that was a question that I had. Like, how does, and I'm happy that you guys are here with different love languages. I'm kind of like, well, how does that correlate? Like, how does somebody who really doesn't like physical touch deal with someone who loves physical touch?
I think it's because his is he wants to be touched. Mine's is I don't really require much of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I had to learn that just because I don't require it doesn't mean he don't require it. So I had to learn how to just, go by and, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Good morning. Lay on him a little bit. Put my foot on him a little bit. And he's fine.
Because I think my thing, like, I'm kind of like dating. So my thing is I'm really based off of consent.
Yeah.
And because I am a physical toucher, it's like, I don't want to invade your space.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I like to be touchy-feely. So I was like, can I touch you? Can I like hold your hand? Can I? So that's something that I think coming to terms with. Because, like I said, I'm a real
there's some people just don't.
consent person.
But like you said, you're dating. Like for me, being married, I can feel my wife vibe. We've been together for a long time. So with certain things, when I know if she's off, I know not to go there and bother her. I give her a space. I feel it. I relocate to another room, or I do something. So I can feel it because we've been together so long that, also, just to put it out there, like, we grew up next door to each other way before we even got into a relationship. Like, we was next door neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I can, like, her energy, I can technically, I can feel it. If it's not right, I move, or I...
So for you, because I'm a throw a question at you, how you said like her vibe, if her vibe is not like, okay, well, you can sense like she don't want to be touchy-feely today, how does that correlate with you when you're a physical touch person? How does that like resonate within you?
I mean, I don't take that personal because that's just where she's at in that present moment in time. So I just like to give her a space. I know I will get my time. It might not be that day, but I know I get my time a later time. So I just understand that we all go through something mentally. So I just respect her boundary and her space at that time.
So I want to, because unfortunately you're the only man here right now.
I mean,
See, I guess for me, with me having physical touch as, a priority for me, sometimes I could take that as rejection. And I am difficult with accepting rejection. You know what I mean? And so it's like, how do you do it when two people have two different love languages. You know what I mean?
We had to
It's
balance
like-
it. We had to balance, and
Mhm.
I had to, regardless of what your love language is, I believe that everybody still have boundaries.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So he had to learn to respect my boundaries. He has some, even though he's a touchy-feely person, he has times where I like to communicate.
Mhm.
This one over here will
Shut down.
shut down.
Mhm.
So we had to learn. I had to learn when he wants to communicate, when he doesn't. Just like he had to learn when I want to be touched and when I don't. So we just had to learn how to manage each other's boundaries, respect those boundaries, and then make time for the time that's required.
And it goes back to what we saw earlier too, that communication, that uncomfortable conversation. Because when we know something off, we'll find the right. Well, I ain't never the right time, but we'll find a time like you need to talk. Something going on. Did I do something? No, you're like, oh, I got something else going on. Okay, I understand that. So we have to have that uncovered because if we let it build, that's like a World War right there. Breaking off. We let it build because now we in there, the house walking through tension. Nobody want to talk. We looking at each other, and all we had to do was have a simple conversation, and right there on the spot, and go from there. So we had to get used to having that uncomfortable conversation sooner
I
than later.
lived on two different ends of that spectrum. I was in a relationship with a person that was like pulling teeth to be like touchy-feely. But in that person's defense, they were institutionalized. They had spent a significant amount of time in prison, and that just wasn't his thing. It was like, it's not that I don't like you, it's not that I don't love you, but like, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was hurtful to me. Then when I was with my husband, I felt like I was in jail at bedtime. Like he would have me locked up, and if you try to like move, you want to go pee or something, he would get tighter, like like zip ties. And I'm like, dang, like you think I'm gonna run away? I don't know. I'm not about to risk it though. So you know what I'm saying? So he just wasn't, you know what I mean? So, and then he had a super high, like psychotically high sex drive. So with that, touch wasn't like, can I get a hug? Wasn't I just want a hug? I want a hug was a trap. So then I was like, no, I'm not coming over here. So, no. And so they're like, well, I can't get a hug. Mm-mm. And so, but eventually we had to have a conversation because he started to feel like I was rejecting him. And I'm like, it's not rejection, that's fear. And even though I was telling him, like, I'm afraid, like, why? And I'm like, because I'm afraid. And he'd be like, what? And in his mouth, like, well, I never put my hands on you, I'm raising my voice at you. Like, what do you have to be afraid of? And I'm like, no, I'm scared. And in his mind, like, well, she don't want me. That's not true.
That's not true.
I don't have a problem touching you. In places I know you can't get me. Like, we're in a car, we're in the middle of Walmart, and even then it was iffy, because, he's about that life. He was about it, so it was like, maybe, maybe not. So it was but we had to have some really dark conversations. We had to start coming to a happy medium, you know what I mean, so that both of us were getting fulfillment, you know what I mean, out of a relationship. But that took maturity and some serious, ugly conversation. Not at like in a heightened state or anything, but like some truth. You're like, listen, don't look at me. I'm gonna tell you something. Turn around. I don't want to see you when you tell what I tell you. You know what I mean? And we had to be like, come super, 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 super clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, he was a gift. I'm a gift giver. I'm a just because it's Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, it was Monday and I thought of you and I know this is your favorite, so I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had to become that. Like I said in the beginning, he would like the money that, if he had it, he was peeling it off. That was his way of making me, to feel, and if he couldn't do that, he was shut down. He hated it.
Yeah.
He felt like he wasn't worth me if he couldn't. I'm like, who told you to do that? Like, where did that come from? Because that's what you deserve. I don't think I decide. Can I decide? You can't be putting me on pedestals I don't even know I'm on. Like, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess I lived on two different ends of like the spectrum. Like, there was a time I was like, yes, please. And then I was like, wait a minute.
It's a bit much.
Let go of me. Unhand me.
I think it's a great conversation to have in new relationships, on dates, for situations where you possibly might see a future in a relationship or what have you, because like years ago, I would have never knew what a love language is. And you said the percentage is still
It's
crazy
30%.
where people don't know their love language.
Mhm.
And I think that if we all knew and we all had that conversation about love language, we might understand each other better from the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
It's like let me tell you what my love languages is.
yeah,
You tell me what
Which
yours
ones?
are,
Mhm.
and then let's see if they're the same or if they're different. How can we get along and respect
Mhm.
each other's love language?
And I
Definitely.
think that, and again, this is why, like, the platform was built, because these are, like, love languages. Like I said, that's not something that you, like, would
Mhm.
generally
Right.
come into a date and talk about. A lot of the topics that we have discussed have been topics that you wouldn't off the back really come into a relationship and talk about, but they're very important. So I just learned, like, sometimes when you get, I'll say, like, the honeymoon stage is cool until that wears off. So now you have to deal with what's your love language.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have such a dominant personality? Why are you, like, the masculine femininity conversation? Like,
Yeah.
why is this a thing? So I don't think enough of those conversations are had, like, in the forefront of a relationship. I
Because some
think
of that stuff ain't none of your business.
I think
I'm gonna tell you like it. Some
I
of it-
think that the reason why though is because even as children we were raised to serve others. And in order to tell somebody your love language, you have to know who you are first. So I think that's why that percentage is so low, is because there's so many people that are finding love, but they're not finding self. You know?
But also, a lot of things weren't taught.
Yeah,
A lot of
so
us were
not taught, yeah.
raised on longevity you know what I mean, or survival. Like, you know what I mean? Once you had kids, you had to be married, and you had to keep it together,
Yeah.
you had to make it work, because God forbid you had a broken home.
Yep.
Or pleasing your mate and putting
So
yourself
for
last.
Last, yeah, that was it's a
Yeah, all of
repeating
those things
cycle.
are some of our parents didn't know.
Mhm.
Serving your mate.
You know what I mean? You were just taught that
You're
this
lost.
And that
Yeah.
was a conversation that I had, like, me and my siblings, we met up yesterday. And that was a real conversation we had. I said, at what point of your life did an adult, a parent, a grandma, an auntie, an uncle sit down with you and say, in these relationships that I had, like when you're older, like when you're a teenager, 18, 19, 20, and say, in these relationships I had, these are some of the situations and scenarios I went through because of this. And I, like, sat back and thought about it. I was like, well, no. And I was like, well, my mom was married and divorced twice, but we never talked about it. Like, we never
Right.
talked about her marriages, and, like, that was something we never talked about it. My aunts have been through, like, in and out of relationships, and my aunt, like, they give you the average talks, like, men ain't no good. I love men. I think men ain't good. What you mean men ain't no good? Like, it's not correlating to how I feel. So it was kind of like, how do I navigate these things and really get my own opinions, my own feelings? If I'm on the verge of being with somebody, bring these topics up so they don't feel afraid to talk to me. Because that's a lot of what I'm seeing and dealing with. Like, men are really afraid to be like, man, this is what's going on. I'm struggling here. And it's like, well, how do we break that barrier? Like, how do we break the barrier?
It's hard.
I mean, it's just gonna take training. I wasn't taught about relationships. I was taught to protect, provide, and, you tell your folks you love them. But the main thing was protect and provide. That was the main thing I was taught to do. So you got to just break those cycles. Just like what, I got 3 boys and my daughter, but I teach them differently. The things that I wasn't taught, I make sure I have that conversation with them so they can prepare, for themselves so they don't repeat the same cycle. So it just takes one for our generation is to reprogram and relearn and then go back and give to the youth. And hopefully they grasp that and then they take that knowledge and go on. So that's the only thing I can think of.
And I think, and I always tell him, I think it comes from generations of men being taught that they are not allowed to have emotions, and they had to
Right.
harbor them
Right.
and harbor and keep those emotions in, which those emotions then shake up in them and turns into anger, or even they shut down automatically. So I think that the way that we stop that is to teach young boys, it's not by showing that you're hurt or a woman hurt you or somebody hurt your feelings, it doesn't make you less than a man.
Right.
How you control those emotions and how you communicate those emotions is what make you a man. So I think that's where the problem really is rooted. It's a lot of the things, and especially today, the things that we're talking about is deep rooted, you know, and generations of it's
You sit and
generations.
listen to people talk long enough, you'll realize that a lot of women have a twisted view about what a man is
Yeah,
and what makes a man manly and things
Yeah.
like that. Like I sit and I listen and watch and pay attention, like even like on social media, some of the things that like what does that have to do
Yeah.
with his ability
at all.
to provide for you, his ability to protect you
Yeah.
if the shit get hot, or his ability to let you know and show you that he love you. You know what I'm saying? What the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Or I don't. If a man eats spaghetti, if a man does that, there was something dumb the other day, and I'm like, you know, I'm done. Like I'm done. Throw the whole society away. I don't want no more.
They always
I don't want it.
They
She
have
said the whole
literally
society.
decided
Throw it
that's
away.
what they have built up a blueprint of what makes a man a man.
Mm-hmm.
But there
And
is
that's
no
not fair.
blueprint. It's not fair at all.
That's not
And if
fair.
there's no blueprint for what makes a woman a woman.
Absolutely.
Right.
There's
But they have
absolutely
put
right.
men in this box of no emotions, harboring emotions, and just work, provide, and
And then be mad when he don't want to
Go.
talk to you. Why won't
Yep.
you talk to me? Because you just told him it was gay.
you just told
You
him.
just told him it was zesty.
Yeah, you just told him he was
Zesty.
zesty for crying.
I had
You
to
just
clean
told
up
him
the
that he
G-word,
was
you know,
weak.
they gonna shut his mouth.
Yeah.
It was zesty too. It was sus a second ago.
Yeah, you just
You know
told
what
him
I'm
you was
saying?
weak and you was this and
That's
just
the second
for-
he was
just for
exposing me for
expressing.
crying. I looked at him
Yeah.
crying.
And so there was
It probably
a,
only take one situation for one person to do that to a man,
Mhm. And
and
it's
it
done.
affects him with
Forever.
every woman forever. It might have been the mother. It could have been the girlfriend, whoever, as a female figure in his life. You know, that's why you see a lot of people who have mommy and daddy
Yep.
issues. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother subject.
Honey.
But men need to know that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
yes.
You know what I mean? But they have to feel safe being vulnerable.
I was gonna say, but
You
also,
can't
well,
be-
going in your house
you
and
can't
be
be
okay in your
vulnerable to
household.
everybody.
You ain't got to be outside crying with the homies on the block. But when you inside this house with your lady or your significant other, whoever that may
okay.
be, you should be allowed to crumble.
Right.
Yeah.
If you
Should
can't
not
fall
be seen
apart
as
in
weak.
here,
Yeah,
then where?
Right. Then
Nobody
where?
should have to be hard all the time.
yeah,
You understand? If I can't crumble up in this nigga, you think, what good are you?
yeah.
Why are you? Because if I go over Tiffany house and I can cry at Tiffany's
Yeah,
yeah,
she holds
with Tiffany
me
got the
then,
got
yeah.
a shoulder.
So,
Yeah.
They listening to
again,
Pastor
it has
Tissue
to
at
be a
Tiffany's.
safe
Yeah.
space.
Mhm.
You
So-
know, because you can't be vulnerable if somebody's gonna take your vulnerability
And tear
and
it to
abuse
shreds.
it, or go, you know what I mean, talk about you, or even bigger, throw it back up in your face later.
Yeah.
That becomes a whole problem.
And
so
that
it's
was
like,
what I was gonna say
I'm
when
not
y'all were
sharing
talking
my
about.
feelings no more, because this is what happened.
and I think
That's what I was going to hold on one second. That's what I was going to say when you was talking about having the conversations early.
Yeah.
And I was like, because it ain't none of your business. Because I don't know that I can trust you with that type of information.
And that trust
I
is
don't
a
know
big
that I
word.
can give you all of that, all of my traumas and my triggers and my
It
baggage.
takes time.
You know what I'm saying?
Takes
Up
time.
front. You know, you have to be around a minute. I got to see the content of your character before I start unleashing the pages of this book. You know what I mean? Because you got one time to be like, and that's why, or I can see why. Can you see it?
that's
Can you see it? If I block your eye, we still be able to see it back there?
But I think that it's a generational trauma, because again, that's the things that we hear as we were growing up. Like I can only speak for me. I've been to your dad ain't no good. Your dad ain't help. I'm like, oh, I mean, I get like I'm a kid. I don't understand this. Like, what did you? But again, like my grandparents, they were married for years until my granddad passed away, and I seen them have good times. But I've also seen them talk to each other like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all love each other. No, we can't do this. Like y'all are like what I see is like a good married couple.
Yeah.
But again, it's never talked about. It's like we want to cuss each other out, and then because you young, you go around, you go your way. But it's like now y'all back, y'all love each other now.
But that's
That's
what
right.
happened.
For better or
So-
for worse.
So I can speak on that because I have grown children. I have 3 grown children, and everything in my relationship is not their business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't think that I have to take precedence to sit down and discuss why we mad. why we was fighting, why we arguing, and why we okay today.
That's why I didn't do it.
You know what I mean? Because that confuses kids. That makes kids take sides, you know, with their parents. And
I
you know,
would
one
agree.
thing I would say is, you know, I never dogged, you know, my kid's father to my kids.
Yeah, no.
I would never say
I'm
your
never gonna
father's
dog
this,
on
your father's that, and this and that. No, because that might be how I feel about him at that moment.
Don't mean I'm
You
gonna
know
feel
what I
that
mean?
way.
Right. That might be my emotions, but
But
I know
also-
that my kids love their father.
Right, and that's the end all. Yeah.
Unconditionally.
I was gonna say, but
You know?
also the relationship is different. Just because that man might have been a monster to me,
Don't
don't
mean
mean he's
Right.
gonna be a monster to his children.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And one thing I valued in my marriage was that we didn't argue or have, we didn't argue anyway, but we didn't have like those discussions in the house. Like if I had beef or something, I'm gonna
Right.
let you in the car for a second.
Right. Right. In private.
Need to sit in the car and talk to you for a minute. Can I talk to you for a minute? Can I talk to you for a minute? You know what I mean? And then
I mean,
we would
that's-
have those
I can't say that.
discussions away. So by the time we was in the house, all the kids knew was fun and funny and good time. You know what I mean?
Right.
They didn't really know turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If we was raising our voice, we was probably joking. Like it was never
Yeah.
a time where we was like, F you too. You shut the F up. Never. We would be in the car, and if we was gonna get like we had to get a little up with it, we would take a drive. You know what I'm saying? And then be driving, going, you know what? And another thing, because of you, you know. And then by the time we get back to the house, we laughing. Because it would be, you know, it didn't never last long. We'd be over and after we both got it off our chest, we'd be cracking funny.
Yeah.
And mid-argument, it'd be something funny getting said, because I only said something stupid like, you thought you was funny? Nah,
See, I
funny.
can't
Not
hold
even
back.
mad no
I can't
more.
hold back. So I'm mouthy. I am.
So
Me
what
too.
I
And you've
use,
seen some arguments
Yeah.
in my house with my kids. Like, oh, they're usually like, here she come, here come mom, she's at it. You know what I mean? However, it's still none of their business. Even if you see me mad, I don't have to explain to you why I'm going through this over here. You know what I mean? Now, I never been, you know, in an abusive situation or we was in big giant fights in the house or anything like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, has there been tension? Absolutely. And so I just deal with it the way I deal with it. And my kids know this is my business. It's not your business. You know?
I was on Facebook the other day, and someone posted. I'm just gonna state in general. I'm not gonna state the exact term, but man, your voice and feelings are not being taken seriously based off of what I see. And I sat back and I thought about it, and I was like, you know how I feel about it. It's not being taken seriously because you guys don't take it seriously. If you as men, and they said black men, as you as black, if you as black men took your voice and your feelings seriously, so would we. We care about y'all.
Voice and feelings are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah,
say that.
elaborate.
too.
That to me, that see, that's
General, very
like
general.
see, that's why I hate that type of stuff. Because first of all, you got to consider the source. Number one, you got to consider the source. Number two, what are you talking about
Yeah.
exactly? What thoughts and feelings?
Yeah.
We talking about like surface shit, like
Yeah.
deep rooted stuff, and then don't speak for me because being taken seriously by who? By who? Who authorized you
Yeah.
Representative.
to be the person
Yeah, that
to
was a
speak on behalf of all
that
of
was
us?
a wide
Right.
range because
Don't do that.
That's
It is.
You don't speak for me.
I mean, so are you saying that men aren't taking themselves
She said
serious
she-
or taking?
So
You serious.
there was a lot of like I was reading the comments before I even responded, and it was like, unfortunately, that's how it is, and I'm like, what the
Who
fuck?
are you people?
Like, what is going on? So at that point, I was just like, it's hard for a female or a black female to take y'all seriously when y'all don't express your emotions to us, when y'all barely talk to us, when y'all feel like we are kind of sort of the enemy, when you feel like we're nagging with you when we're not, we're actually trying to create conversation. When we're trying to make you take accountability for the role that you play in things and help you to realize how to adjust it. So that's basically what I said. I said, well, as men, you have to take accountability for the role that you play. If you had any role in this of not feeling like your voice is heard or your feelings are not being met, what role did you play?
I disagree.
mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
throwing it in the man's face.
I will say I
because they try to
disagree.
feel-
I
that-
disagree wholeheartedly.
But it's a whole lot of things in that space is missing, because one, we already talked about safe space and all this stuff, so there's a lot of things there as well. But then the other piece is, a lot of times when we have conversations, we don't have conversations to hear. We have conversations to respond. So a lot of times when we try to talk to somebody anyway, normally men in general, a lot of men, I can't say all men, but a lot of times when we try to express ourselves, a lot of times people don't want to hear what we got to say in general, because it's normally we whining, or we bitching, or we soft. So a lot of times, if that space is not a safe space, then they're not going to say anything anyway, though. So if the groundwork have not been set out there, and like I said, a lot of times when you talk to people, and then it's not just men. Most of the time when we talk to somebody, we think about a response. We're not thinking really to hear them, to understand them, to, as my wife said, get clarity of what they're really talking about. We really look for a response, like, oh, they said this, I'm about to say that. Because if it triggers you, now you're in defense mode.
So I was gonna say, to bounce off of that, there's also, like, again, when you start talking about accountability and stuff, again, who are you talking to? Because some people rewrite the narrative. You can say how you feel as plain as day, and they're going to talk about, but what you was trying to say was, I said, what I meant. I don't like blue. Now, what you trying to say is, you don't like it when I wear blue, but you like it when Keisha wear blue. I don't give a F.
Who's wearing blue?
Who's wearing blue?
Who? I don't like it. You understand what I'm saying? There's always a person, or what you was
Yeah.
really trying to say was, you were
They
trying to
take-
throw it.
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of things, and then when someone is asking you to take how's your ability to take accountability? You understand? Where are you at on the accountability scale? You see what I'm saying? It's easy to throw something out there, but are you self-checking? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It's easy to be like, you. No. Let's talk about you for a second. You know what I'm saying? Because you out here talking like you got it all figured out, but do you? Do you?
And most
do
of
you
the
have it
times,
figured out?
all people don't have it figured out. I'm not, like, when it comes to certain, nobody's you. So they don't have you figured out.
No, but when you start asking for things, you have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, furthermore, most men are of very few words.
Yeah.
Like women, we come in with a story. You're gonna be able to see that motherfucker while we're telling it. Nah, and then what you believe, and then she gonna come in with that nappy hair, and them funky dirty ass fingernail, which don't have shit to do with the story. But we're gonna add a couple context moments in there. Men are very cut and dry.
Yeah.
A, B, C.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You ask them a question, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
And I do that all the time. I'm like, are you finished? Are you, that's it?
Amen. You see what I'm saying? So that's
Because I
another
think
thing. Like,
we
you have
want
to be
more.
able to accept them
We
for
want more
how
than
they
that.
communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told you. You just wanted it to look how you would
You
have heard
want-
it if
yeah.
you were talking to Yolanda.
Yeah.
He's not Yolanda.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
He's George. And George knows how to
So, and I think that, like, you brought up a good topic when it comes to those situations, because I'm like, I was told I asked so many questions. I'm like, well,
No, you ask enough questions.
no, I was told by somebody that it's like, man, you got a lot of questions. Well, I don't know, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep asking
Yeah.
until
I always
I
have a lot of
figure it out.
questions.
Like, I need to have clarity within me. Like, you may be cool over there, but I'm not. I don't know what's going on. So, and that's the only time when I ask questions, because I always say my mind thinks differently. Where you may be, my mind is not. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep at like, hey, and you might be like, well, I'm still not there.
Yeah.
And what I was told is that I learn differently.
Right.
How-
But we all have a different understanding and a different outlook on how we perceive things. So, you know, what you might have clarity on, I might have 10 more questions.
Right.
I got questions. What? Let's go deeper. You
And
know what I
sometimes,
mean?
like I said, you're going to have to repeat it a few times before it lands. You know what I mean? You might
Absolutely,
want to say it. What? Say
absolutely.
that again? No, one more time, though.
And that plays into we all have different learning
What I heard
styles.
was. Is that what you were saying?
You know, we have different learning
Say it again.
styles.
Yeah.
That one right there is a good one. That one, I think, in my opinion, is missing in a lot of relationships. Getting that feedback.
What I
what
heard
did you
was-
actually hear me say? A lot of times we had take it, compartmentalize, okay, they said this, and boom, and they're like, no, that's not what I meant. but they don't go back and get that feedback,
Or add to it.
you know? And then another thing I want to say from my own perspective, if you talk to me, 99.99% of the time, I'm looking for a solution. So I need to know when you're trying to vent, and I need to know when you want to have a problem. I need to know when you want me to have a solution, and I need to know when you want to vent. Because if you come to me 99% of the time, I'm going to look for a
Men
solution.
gonna try to fix it every single time.
And I had to
I'm
get
like,
used to
whoa,
that.
buddy. And
I had
ask you
to-
for a solution.
it took me a
I'm trying to
minute.
tell you how dirty Keisha ass is.
Yeah.
You just listen for a second.
Yeah, it took me a minute to understand that if I take him a problem, don't think that I can just lay this problem on him and he's not gonna be like, okay, now what are we doing next?
That's my.
And sometimes it's like, listen, I don't want you to do nothing. I just wanted somebody that I can vent to.
Yeah.
But it took me a minute to understand that if I have a problem, the only way that I needed to take it to him if I want it fixed. Or if I go to him and say, listen, I'm just coming to communicate this to you. I don't need nothing done. I just need
I
That's-
tell my
that's
husband I
me.
need him to put his
That's
friend
me.
hat on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to talk to my friend. I need to put your friend hat on.
Right.
And we were doing the
Right.
imaginary hat switch.
I like that. We can do that.
Yeah.
We did a thing. He was
Because
gonna be
if
like,
I
I need to
don't,
talk to
then
my
he's
friend
like,
for a
so what
second.
do you want to do?
I don't want to talk to my wife. He done take
Yeah.
that wife hat off with the
So
friend
right
hat on.
there, you're saying,
I'm
you're adding
listening.
to his acts of service.
Yeah.
Because his acts of service
It's-
are to help
It's helped to
you.
that's
to
so yeah,
figure
that's
it
how we
out.
bounce off of each other
Yeah.
because he knows that I like to see the acts of service,
Mhm.
but also because I am not the one that's gonna say, can you? He gotta be willing to say, okay, I'm gonna handle this. This is what I'm gonna do, and so that's how we handle it. But it was hard at first.
Yeah.
When I say it was hard, because at first I was like, listen, like I don't really want. He's the type that. Are we going to go pull up? Are we fighting, or what? Is it a problem?
Oh, I don't know when none of
Right,
that
do I need to do a
You
lawsuit?
need to be around them
Do I need
guys.
a lawyer? Like he's ready to get
Don't
the
go
lawyer.
over
He's
there.
ready to get all that. So
That
I'm
is
like,
so
listen, it doesn't have
me.
to go that far. Okay.
No, Matt
That
was the
is
polar
so
opposite.
me.
Matt was
Yeah,
like,
because-
well, come your ass home, baby. Don't even do your
Because
business.
I think me and him,
Get out
me
of
and
the
him
car
are
started.
similar with our styles. Because I'm a gifts and acts of service person too, as far as giving. So like even with my kid, like she has a good relationship with my kids. So my kids would call and be like, yeah, and da 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 da. Okay, what do you want me to do? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Do you need me to cash app you? Do you need me to pull up? I'm all the way here, but I'll come to you. Like, what is it that they be like? No, like I just needed to get it off. Like, I just need to get it off. Like, be my mom.
Sometimes they just want to talk to their mom. It's like, okay, what you-
Like,
I'll be telling him
talk
something.
to their mom. Right?
I tell him something and he'll be like, okay, so what's next for us? I'm like, I was just telling you and explaining the situation. That's all I was doing.
You gotta
Okay,
come
but
in like, I'm
what,
gonna need to talk to my friend. For a second.
what's
I'm using
next?
that. I
Let
like
me holler at the homie. Go switch that
Can
off
I
for
ask
you.
you a question?
Yeah.
With words of affirmation, is it something like, did you have to hear it constantly or like all the time or?
I'm kind of weird. So I like to hear them, but I don't want it to be overbearing. Because it kind of gets me a little antsy and a little anxious. I don't know what it is. But too much of it can be a bit much. I think that stems from the trauma too. From having too much of the attention, too much of that you look amazing. And that is a bit much to me. So it's give or take. It's kind of iffy. It's really kind of iffy.
So I'm gonna ask, and I know we kind of talked about it before we went live. I'm gonna ask this group to a question because of this conversation I had yesterday. Do you believe intimacy and love languages go hand in hand?
No.
Depends on the love language. If your love language is physical touch, then quite possibly. Yes, it does. But if your love language is something completely different, then
I
no.
think
I mean,
it
I think that's
varies.
going to be conditional.
I think
I
it
think it's conditional.
I think it varies, and I'll say it like this because all day, 24/7, I'm this working woman. I'm always out and I'm always about, right? But when I'm in the bedroom and it's time for intimacy, I don't want any form of that control. So I want you chasing after me. I want the touches. I don't want to have to control nothing. So I think it all depends, honestly.
So in my thought process with it, and there was something that came up that sometimes to people intimacy means sex or any portion of sex,
Mhm.
whatever that may be. And sometimes with a love language, that physical touch or whatever love language would communicate that is not sexual. Like, I don't want it to be sexual. I just want you to touch me. I just want you to hold my hand. I just want you to, like, I don't want nothing to do with
Yeah.
sex. I just want to be touched or hugged or cuddled. So that's something that we kind of flopped back and forth with yesterday, because it was like, I don't think it has anything to do with intimacy.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you can-
Intimacy
you can
doesn't
put- you
necessarily
put 'em
have
together.
anything to do with sex.
Yeah,
You put them
it
together,
could,
but
though.
it's, I mean, as far as like the test, that's just me. I mean, intimacy, I just love my wife. If I'm just sitting still, she just sit on me, so my lap, or she just stop and just jump on me and stop trying to wrestle me and whatever. I like those things, you know. So, but it's just, yes, you
I
can
think
correlate
it
them.
varies.
Yeah.
I was saying intimacy
Yeah, it
is
does.
its own
It does.
lane
It
for
is
them,
its own
because
thing.
intimacy doesn't necessarily have anything to do with sex.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Intimacy could be sitting in silence
Yeah.
and just
Right.
breathing.
But
You know,
even-
the intimacy could be that nap y'all took. You know what I'm saying?
it could be sitting there watching a movie and just
Fall
holding each
asleep.
other.
Absolutely.
But even in those moments, I think it would vary. Like for me, I'm not going to be the one that says, "Okay, let's sit down and watch a movie."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would have to literally come to me and say, "Let's want to chill, want to watch a movie, want to do,"
Yeah.
and it's because I'm go.
Yeah.
So that when I'm relaxing, I really just want to relax. I don't want to do nothing. So he has to take that full, initiative. I think it varies.
Yeah, I just slow down a lot, so I don't be working, so I'll be chilling. You know,
But for
'cause-
intimacy, I'm sorry, for intimacy for me, that also could go into my other, love language, which is quality time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That goes in hand for me, so like you said, just sitting around, just having quality time with the person you want to spend that time with, could be a non-sexual situation, a walk in the park, you know what I mean, holding hands, just sitting there vibing, you know what I mean? To me, that's intimacy as well. Being
But that's what I
around a
said, it's
person
gonna depend
who you
on what
want
the
to,
love
and it
language is.
feels- yeah, and it
Because if your
feels
love
good.
language is gift giving, motherfucker intimate, you hand me this.
I mean, but it could be. It
And
could
like
be.
what I
Motherfucker, I
said,
got you that.
A surprise gift for me, that could feel.
I'm just saying,
good.
before, it would depend, it would vary person to person.
So,
And it's
yeah.
going, you know what I'm saying? And what type of gift giver? You the type of person that just have it laid out, you be not home, and then she come and be like, oh my.
But that's,
Who you intimate with? You by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
But I-
it's going
yeah.
to vary
I love
situation
Yeah.
to
A
situation.
love note could
but
be
so when we
intimate.
say gift giving, I always told that there's a difference in that. Like I said, there's a difference between materialistic gift giving, where, like I said, mine's is gift of service, but somebody who I may be particularly dealing with, they're like, man, I can buy 25 of these shirts you just bought me. I don't need this. So
That's just ungrateful.
So you don't.
You gonna get away from him.
See,
Whoever that is,
No, I'm
you gonna
saying
get away from that ungrateful.
that's one of my
That ain't number get worse.
that's one of my love languages. That's how I feel like giving. Like I'm a giver. So I will. Hey, I like this. And this is cute. This is a cute shirt for a man to have on.
Yeah.
So I'll go buy it, but they're like, wait, I don't like I don't want you to have to come out your pocket to prove to me
Man,
that
just
you love me.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Yeah, but it's not.
But
that you
if
have
I
to-
do something like,
Say thank you.
for instance,
Yeah.
we talk, so I know that you like sports. I know that you like concerts. Okay, if I buy you concert tickets and we go to a concert, you like, dang, that's the best gift ever. Like, ain't nobody
You
done
gotta
this.
take me
So
on the
that's
ticket back.
different,
So it's knowing the person.
right?
So once you know the person in a more intimate way,
Way.
you have a tendency to know what they like
Mm-hmm.
and what's okay
Mhm.
and what doesn't cross boundaries. You know what I mean?
Or
'Cause so I can
you
say,
wanna see-
oh, I'm at the mall. Oh, I like this. Oh, I know he like this hat. I know what kind of cologne he likes,
Or
and I will buy
I smelled
it.
this and I was like, my man.
Yeah,
you
and
need
it
this.
doesn't, for me, gift giving doesn't have to be a holiday or anything.
Right, it
Like
could
you
just
said,
be
it
in
could be a
general.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
If I
Saw
like
his hat,
it,
I was like, he
you
gonna
know,
look good
and
in
not
that.
only for a mate, even for one of my friends. I'm like, oh my goodness, I know my girl likes this lipstick. I'm gonna buy her one too. You know what I mean? It's knowing
Yeah.
who you're gift giving to.
Mhm.
I know the people that. So my grandma is one person who I like to do like gift giving and acts of service for, and I know she. Like, you know, she's older. She's 98, so she probably just look at this and be like, I don't even know what this. This is cute. What like what next? Because she's seen and done everything. Like, if you that old, it's like okay. But I think with her, it's more of the time, like me actually coming over and seeing her,
Yeah.
and so she probably could have did without the gift. But for me, that's like, oh, I love you.
The other thing about the gift giving though, for when you're giving gifts to, when we talk about as far as your partners, you gotta be mindful too as well, because just because you want to give it to them, sometimes, as my wife was saying earlier, you know, she don't want to be tested a whole lot. So sometimes you could be over giving them gifts, and it could be a trigger or something that's reacted to. So you gotta be mindful of that, because just because you like it doesn't mean that the person that you give it to actually want to receive that at that time, because they could be in a space at that moment where they might not want to receive anything right at that moment. So
Or
reading
it could
them-
be a trauma
Yeah,
because
that's what
you
I'm
know,
saying.
you have somebody who gave you shit and they be like, didn't I just buy you the Gucci shoes? You ain't gonna cook me some chicken
Yeah.
and I ain't bought you some motherfucking Gucci
Yeah.
shoes? Like, damn,
So that
take them back,
that goes
Charles.
go back to having that uncomfortable conversation with that person that you choose to be with, to understand what may be triggers. That's one of the other things about that self-love too, is find out what your triggers are.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you don't know, when we talk about the languages of how only 30% people know about it, if you don't know what trigger you, and somebody doing it, you're not gonna know, because you haven't did that self-healing in yourself. So
Right.
it's just gotta be mindful. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
There's also, I posted in the group the breakdown of the 7 love styles, which, again, I don't think a lot of people know the love
The
styles.
Greek one?
No, the one that's like activity, appreciation, emotional, financial, intellectual, physical, and practical. Those are the love styles. So it's kind of like, how do I correlate with them? I'm like, dang, I kind of know.
Listen, it's gonna be conditional.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yet
be
again,
conditional.
That's gonna depend on who that person, the other person is.
It definitely is.
Because I might not be this way over ordinarily, but here you come
Yeah.
with the sinner demon,
Gee, man.
taking me all outside my ordinary character.
In the way somebody else did it, probably didn't give the same reaction
Right.
as that
Right.
new person may give, and you may look at it like, wait a minute, I kind of like it now.
Right.
Yeah. But I wasn't into sinner.
Yeah, I would.
Right.
You know, Rob's in the picture. I like that. Do it again.
Depends on the person,
Let me see.
absolutely.
Person, the chemistry, the energy, there's so many different
Yes.
factors there. So.
Yes, it is.
So there's another thing that I posted about the most popular love language by age, according to a survey of 2,600 people. And it didn't matter the age range, but quality time was the most popular love language.
I would equate that to what we recently had, that happened when everybody was locked in their homes. I don't think, because a lot before that, before everybody was locked in the house for 2 years, everybody was on go time. Everybody was on their merry way to work, providing, doing things they needed to do, going out there and doing their business. But everybody had to stop.
You
except for
found out what
essential.
your relationship was made of.
Ooh.
So you realize
You
if you had that quality
found
time,
out.
Real inventive.
Yeah,
And
Real
real,
inventive.
real.
During
Yeah.
that time, divorce rate went up,
Yeah.
relationships broke up. A lot happened during COVID because it was like we actually have to stop and spend time with each other. Now we have to make the decision: do I really like you?
Yeah.
Like
They was
I
always
like
breathe like
you
that?
for 3 hours the other day.
You were
but
chewing
now
like that
we
the whole
here
time?
all day.
COVID
Yeah.
really put relationships
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
test.
It
They even
did.
said that domestic violence went up.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah,
mental
when
health
I was
too.
in Lawrence in
Mental
the
health.
winter.
Yeah,
When
mental
the winter gets snowed in,
Yeah.
the roads is cold. Oh,
Yeah.
you just
There was a
know.
lot of marriages too. I found like during COVID, or me and my ex, our relationship was better during COVID because we were actually spending more time together.
Quality time.
We were spending like more quality time together, even with the kids. Like we would do stuff that we would do like when we were kids. Like we went out. We snuck out to Walmart one day. We wasn't allowed to be at Walmart. It was like one of them hours like where the seniors was supposed to be there, and we got laser tag sets for the house. So it's like we want to play laser tag in the dark, and then we ended up playing hide and go seek in the dark. Turned off all the lights in the house. Find your hiding spot.
I'm not playing.
Somebody got a different way to say their mind.
Trauma. That's trauma.
I'll be the ref. Hey, the referee it is today.
So
Referee.
like we was
I thought.
we actually like it brought our family together more than it tore it apart. So like I could say kudos to COVID for some of those reasons. But it helped me figure out them as well. Like my kids, my ex, like it helped me figure out them and like, okay, those are your triggers. I know, but are you doing the work within yourself to know?
Not if I don't see nothing wrong with it. You got a problem with it, not me.
And I mean, and after COVID, that's a lot of what I did after COVID. Again, was I had to learn myself, like a lot of self healing, a lot of self love. That's why, I always look up whenever we're talking about or discussing certain things how it correlates to self. Like, do you know yourself? Like,
Yeah.
Because I think knowing self is very important outside of the other roles that we play, because we could get so stuck in those roles that we lose ourselves. Another conversation that I kind of had yesterday was in relationships with compromise and communication. Sometimes you lose yourself, like a part of you is lost in those compromises and conversations. So I think, learning and understanding how to love your mate is a good thing.
Yeah.
And knowing the difference between loving someone and like being in love with someone.
I mean, I got some of the things that always in my mind now, because before being married, you taught to go provide, as a man, protect, fast and all stuff like that. So I wasn't really taught about self-love. But so with not learning at a young age, I was looking at my other half to make me happy. But I realize now as I grow that if you focus on making yourself happy, your significant other focus on making themselves happy, then y'all have a wonderful relationship. But if y'all focus on trying to make each other happy, y'all gonna be crazy as hell.
It's a hell of a burden to put on another person.
And I also, I was able to see that he was so used to, from when he was a kid, his mother, he had to make sure she was okay, helping her with things, helping his nieces and nephews with things. So he would literally stop his entire life to fix mines. So I had to literally get him to detach himself from me. We were in the same house, but you need to do what you need to do and take care of yourself. You're driving yourself crazy because trying to make sure I'm okay, meanwhile, you're not okay. Mm-hmm. And so I have to agree with him when he said that, we had to love each other, ourselves individually for us to love each other. And that allowed us to get to know each other better as individuals first. And it allowed us to communicate what we want, need, and require from each other as a unit. And it kind of put everything back together in a better position, because at first I was dealing with things, he was having some traumas. And I think when it comes to relationships, everybody walk in with some form of past that they've taken, whether you try to or not, whether it be your childhood, past relationship, or anything, you're bringing something to the table. And you have to know where those issues stem from and what's your response to it. So once we both managed to understand, he understood that, he learned that over time, yes, I can take care of my home, I can pay the bills, I can take care of the kids, but I need to have time for myself. Mm-hmm. And I had to understand what my triggers was and what I needed. I always used to fuss about wanting to have my own. He was in the military, and I was just the wife at home and things that I wanted to have my own. So it took for him to understand, yes, I can take care of her. Yes, I can pay the bills, but this is a woman that wants to have and do for herself. And she's not going to be happy. Mm-hmm. She's going to make my life a living hell until she does it. So once I began to love myself and then put time into myself, and then I could have my own business, my own career, it's like, Jolly, well, I got you. I want to do this, want to do that. I'm happy, but it's because we have to take individual time and then come back to the table and say, I need this. I cannot have this. And that's when everything began to.
That's compromise.
I think in my
compromising. Yeah, they did a lot of it.
In my situation, like when my late husband and I met, I had my career, and my career was making nice money. It was nice. Life was nice. And then once I got pregnant, had to go on maternity leave, and then we got married. When I came around at the time for me to come up off of maternity, he didn't want me to go back to work. He was like, can we be done? They're like, I'm done with that. And at the beginning, being a housewife seemed like a dope life. Like, I gotta live. I just be here with the kids, whatever. And I thought that was going to be amazing. But when I no longer had 98,000 things to do, you understand what I'm saying? I didn't know who the piss I was. Like, what the fuck? I got being in that house with them kids got old real fast.
Real fast.
When all you're talking to is little people and
Yeah.
toddlers,
And you forget that there's a whole, and
that was
meanwhile,
some BS. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't like this.
and
this.
meanwhile, your spouse is getting to go see and talk
Oh,
to
and that's what we
adults.
just told him now.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
did
you know,
too.
you get to go outside. He's like, I gotta fuck outside. I'm at work. I'm like,
It doesn't matter.
was you outside of here? Was you other adults present? Your ass got to go outside.
That's
I was
how I
talking to
used
them all day.
And I used to be, he's like, oh, but I'm
Look at this
at
B-word.
work, though, it doesn't matter.
Watching
You're
Nick
talking-
Jr. and PBS Kids all day.
But I
And
think that,
teaching and doing flashcards. I am tired of roll your boat. You know what I mean?
But I think
I got the peanuts out on the railroad track one more time. I swear to God. I swear to your mama gonna need services. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna play you. And it took him a long time. I would have to switch my analogies, like, because and stop saying you went outside. I'm like, listen, I feel like a prisoner.
Yeah.
I say, even inmates get yard time.
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm getting no yard time. I like, think of me as a plant. Yes, you gave me great soil, but you don't give me no sun.
Yeah.
And you only water me sometimes. And I'm telling you right now, I'm about to die.
It was
This
like,
is
so
I'm
I
working.
feel
I'm
locked
leaning
down.
over.
I agree with that, but also because a lot of us went to work from home. So again, if I work from home and you get to go out, yeah, I'm working, but I'm in the crib
Long
for
before
10 hours.
work from home. Sure.
Yeah, but see, when I was doing it, this before everybody had work from home jobs.
That's what I'm saying.
Social media jobs. So I literally was trapped in this house while he's doing the military for 12 to
I was
17 hours a
outside
day.
fighting
Well,
crime.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So,
I'm dead serious.
For
I'm
instance,
outside fighting crime.
I'm saying
for
like I'm
nothing.
speaking before COVID
Yeah.
because I worked from home for 5 years. Before COVID even started, I was working
Oh,
from
see, not
home.
me. I was.
So I'm like, man, I want to go outside. You was at work. What you do at work today? I was bombed
Work?
with the bomb
You better tell me
today.
what went on. I know it's bullshit.
How many people
You better get
work
gossip
today?
real quick. You
Like,
better come here with some conversation for me real quick.
quick.
Make it up. Make it up.
And then their stories is so
They're
like,
like, so now I gotta start taking, they start calling me throughout the day. Before I forget, so listen. Ralph came to work today, and I took a picture. They listen. I'm like, you better get quick to spill the tea, because I need that.
And my ex used to work at CCAC. He used to work next to Stage AE. So there would be times he would call me and there'd be concerts. And I'm like, yo, Dawn Tolliver now Stage AE. Like, I want to go. Like, I don't want to, like, I want to go. He'd be like, go for a drive.
yeah.
I will punch
It's
you.
not the same.
I'll get
What
violent
is-
real
what
quick.
is-
Like,
what
you
is
want to
that
fight
gonna
me? Is that what we're at with
What
it?
is-
We gotta get violent in here. Gotta get physical.
Yeah, and they come up
I
with the
feel like you trying
most.
to try me.
Well, you went to the YMCA, yeah, with more kids. That's what I went with more kids.
It took a while. I went to my mom's house only one time. I said, okay, cool. He was like, talking about how, I don't know, one of them times, we laughed. He thought I was coming at him, and I wasn't. He's like, I pay all the bills. I said, oh, you think just because you pay a light bill? I said, let me ask you a question. When you met me, was my lights off? No. Was my gas off? No. Was my water off? No. I said, was I homeless? Was I struggling? So I was up, I was good. I'm going. And so I packed my shit and took the kids that wanted to go. Because my oldest son at the time sure chose him. Like, I'm staying with Dad. Love you about Hollistown. I'm going to stay with Dad, right? And so then he thought about it now, and he texted me like, you ain't have to leave. I said, no, what I want to know is how them lights feel. How that gas feel. How that water feel. How, you flicking them light switches in there by yourself. How that feel? He came to get me, he's like, so fuck them lights. I understand, I got it. Come home. Quit playing and come home. But that's all I'm saying. Like, don't treat me like
I'm disposed.
I'm being unreasonable by trying. And I was trying to compromise because by then I was like felt like I was begging for your time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, can I get the weekend? No. Okay, now can I get every other week? No. Can I get once a month, nigga? Because I don't feel like once a month is asking a lot. So then when I felt like that, I'm like, I shouldn't have to beg you
For your
to prioritize me. Like, that's crazy. Well, I got to make sure that you don't understand how much pressure is on my shoulders. And he was saying, and it took a while for that to resonate. And I'm like, what you mean by pressure? Until he started breaking it down. And I'm like, I see your problem.
And that's what I was about
Once
to say.
again, stop putting me on pedestals I don't know I'm on.
And that's what I was about to say. 'Cause we have
Stop doing that to me. I didn't know I was on there.
We have that thing where they want to provide, and we're taught that we're not working. because a lot of us are based off our status. So if we're not working and we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing,
Or it's
then
not
we
at a
feel-
certain dollar amount or
Right,
anything.
we feel some type
And it's
of
like
way.
I feel like a failure. And I'm like, you got to
Yeah.
cool your jets with that.
For
Don't put
real.
that- Don't put
Yeah.
that demon on me. I didn't ask for that. Like, I appreciate you.
But
I'm not ungrateful. It does not go unnoticed. Believe me, because outside these walls, bitch, you wish.
Yeah,
I can't relate. My husband takes care of me.
right.
Who? My husband. Yes, my husband did. Yes, he did.
I'm the
What?
total
All right,
opposite.
babe, can I go to Jersey next week?
Total opposite.
That's what I was thinking. He said yes. He said how much he
I
needs to
can't
see.
relate to any of that.
Yeah, that's me.
I want it for
I can't
nothing.
relate because I am really a workaholic.
Yeah, me too.
And I've always worked. I probably was born working because I grew up in my grandparents' restaurant. So I was like 2 working in a restaurant. But I've been working all my life, and I've always had the thought in my mind that I gotta have my own. God bless the
My
child
mom.
that has their
Right,
own.
yeah.
So I could never sit there, even if my husband wanted me to. I'm like, no, I need something to do.
Dude, yeah.
So even when my 3 kids were little, I was working and going to school. So he was working as well. So we had daycare set up, or we had family set up who was watching the kids and then come home. You know what I mean? I never, and I don't think I could ever be a stay-at-home person because I'm a workaholic.
Like I said,
I'm a
I thought it was
workaholic.
a
And if I'm
dope.
not in my
I thought
beauty
that was
salon,
like,
if
hell
I'm not
yeah.
in my booth,
So-
I'm somewhere doing
something.
something all day, every day.
That's me. I'm a
That's me, man.
workaholic.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when my kids were young,
I don't
I
know
was
how to
working.
stop.
I was in school, and my kids were in whatever the basketball, football,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
band,
kids is in
Mine
that.
choir,
mine was in
all of
everything.
that. So I was constantly boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. You
But
can be at
that-
work, but I'm a
again,
boom, boom, boom.
But that's what I'm saying though. But even then, I'm not a hyper-social person. So even though my kids were in sports and stuff, like my daughter does competition cheer. You watch the show Dance Moms? I'm gonna tell you, you think the moms were psycho? Cheer moms is retarded. I mean, they're off the chain. And I just wasn't about to play
That's
this game with y'all. So I literally would isolate myself
That's
so that I didn't have to deal with that. So again, still, I'm not getting that that adult interaction that I needed. So eventually, I went to him. I was like, "Some need to give me a little job,
Yeah, that was.
cause
Yeah.
this ain't going."
That's
work
how I was with
for
him. With him
me."
being military and the culture
Yeah, that culture
is
is.
so.
Yeah.
It's. I'm like, this is not for me. I don't fit this script. And I used to get so upset because I was like, I don't fit these whole moms gossiping and
Yeah.
I'm
wives
not about to
telling,
play that game with you.
telling each other's businesses. I didn't like
Not
it.
interested.
So I would get angry at the fact that you're first of all, you're out of the house for all these hours a day, okay, with these people. Then when they say go, you have to go.
Yeah.
When they say go home, you have to go home. When it's time to get up, it was literally, I'm like, I did not sign.
You were in the military too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yes.
felt
Yes.
like
You
that
felt
like-
I was
She was. Yeah, she was.
in the
yeah.
military. And I never signed
Yeah.
the dotted line. I'm like, so always
I ain't got no DD-214.
I don't
I
have
ain't got
this.
that.
So then-
I ain't got no DD-214.
Well, I was trying to work my own, I was doing security. I did security for 15 years, but I wasn't happy. And I
Yeah.
felt like
You didn't have your niche.
I didn't have my niche. It wasn't there. So then I've always been a person that tried to work. But then I was always trying to be this housewife, but to be in this house, shock the kids, I can't leave, military wives, all of this, order that, go this. We was moving every 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
My life was just, but then when I finally, once again, that whole self-love thing, I was able to find that niche.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I find my niche,
Your life is so. It makes
like-
you so
It
happy.
all makes sense.
It makes you
It's
so happy.
yeah, it's all making
So-
sense. And I figured out it wasn't meant for me to work for nobody.
Amen.
Right.
It wasn't
I'm
meant for
definitely an
me.
employee.
Yeah, it wasn't meant for me to work for nobody. I had to have my
I'm happy
own.
when I'm working for
So
myself.
that's what I do now. I have my own. I do my own, and it's just been that way. But that came with that self-love.
So we got 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with closing out. What we do in close out is we usually go through the panel and ask, like, if you have anything coming up, anything you want anybody to know about, how they could find you if they want to find you or anything like that. So we'll start with you.
You can go to savageroyalty.com where I have a talent agency for social media influencers where I teach you social media, understanding your needs, branding yourself and your businesses. And then I also you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Royal Realist, where I do conspiracies, knowledge, crime, and everything. And I'm signed under Too Strong, which is also a company under YouTube as well, where you can go to number 2 Strong, where I'll go there as a panelist every couple of days.
Can you spell your website, just in case they put extra
Savage
letters?
Royalty, so spell it just like Savage and Royalty without a Y at the end. .com.
Okay.
Okay,
Mr.
awesome.
Mr. Dion, sir?
Dion, your local bedroom candy consultant. You can reach me at www.bedroomcandy, that's KANDI.com/15595. I'm everywhere. My next event actually going to be with, I think, Raven in October. But other than that, I'm just out and about. I'm online. I do parties. If you want me to do a party, I do it. You need some merch, I got you. I'm here.
Miss Raven?
I am Raven. You can find me at Shades of Beauty Salon, which is located in Swissvale. Also, you can find me, my boutique, which is in Wilkinsburg. I haven't announced the location yet, but that's under bellavie.com. What I do have coming up in October, which is October 22nd, I am hosting my second fashion and hair extravaganza.
Okay.
So, again, that's October 22nd. I'm still looking for more vendors, and it's really showcasing stylists, barbers, designers, boutiques, and bringing everybody together in a big major networking event. So I have entertainment and a lot of vendors, a lot of things going on. So again, that's October 22nd. So, look for the information on that. But I'm around, I'm everywhere. You can find me on all social media platforms under my name, Raven, Ravin. And I'm usually with SOB Brand or Shades of Beauty or Bella V.
For your event, are there any stylists looking for models or any other fashion designers
So
looking
what
for
I do
models?
is I put it out that, we need models, and so I will create a model list, because a lot of times what I found out with my boutique, in particular, the models cancel at the last minute. So I find myself in a mad dash looking for people to actually come out and model,
Get your list and then get your alternates.
Yeah.
Just
All
come
that.
and
But
sit
what I
and
also
stand
tell
by,
all my
just in
salons,
case.
barbershops, boutiques, I say over recruit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you over recruit, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be good. You're gonna have enough. So
Your A list and your B list, child.
you're all invited. Yay! It's a good time. It's really a good time. Networking, and just
I
just
kind of
having
want
a
to be a
good time.
model. I want to get my
Get
hair
your
did.
rock the work
Okay.
on my
My
mind.
hair did.
Okay, I'll keep you guys in mind, definitely.
What about you, Miss?
I'm trying to rebuild my TikTok right now. So if y'all could go to TikTok and find Carlisa Turner or the Turner Turn Up 50, I think. And follow me. You don't gotta like me, you know what I mean? But just follow me so I could be able to go live again. Cause I had a nice account with a bunch of followers, and it was taken from me unfairly without I didn't even get a trial, So I'm trying to rebuild my
got
TikTok
banned.
up. Super banned. Like don't come.
Do
back
not
banned.
disturb, man.
Yeah. Like
Do not pass go.
fuck out of here, man.
You're on Facebook though.
It's a different
It's
platform.
different. It's only
It's a different
different-
platform.
Okay.
It's a different thing.
But that's where people can find you.
They can definitely find me on Facebook. What I'm asking y'all to do though is to find me on TikTok, okay? And because if you hear, you already know me on Facebook. I need you to know me on TikTok, just for following purposes. I mean, if you don't want to watch my content, you don't got to. But I need them followers, fam. Please, I'll beg.
So, in closing, I would like to state, we just had our live event, Let's Talk About Sex, and the event went off very, very well.
It did.
I was so pleased with the outcome of the event. Me and my co-host, business partner, we've been in talks of doing another live show. Please just bear with us. We're trying to get the logistics together with that, and what we believe the content will be. She says, I like foolishness and fuckery, and I kind of do. So the topic that I want, she is like, I don't know.
Security. We're gonna need security. We gonna need security. Security.
I mean, the last time that homegrown hairdo was a little sticky with them. I thought.
No.
No, it wasn't sticky.
That's not even gonna touch. That's gonna look more. Ooh, you trying to start a forest fire. Or Smokey the Bear on standby. 'Cause when I tell you,
I think it's a good topic.
wildfire.
I think it's a good topic. So we'll be in the process of working on that. We'll be starting to close up the relationship segment. We still are rolling it. We're going to start rolling into marriage, separation, divorce, those type of topics, and really dive deep into those and what those mean to people and things of that nature. After that segment, somehow we're going to try to roll mental health back into this because that plays a big role in everything, in relationships and family and building with your kids and your business. So at some point we're going to try to tie that back and have some shows and panelists in correlation to that. Other than that, I don't really have too much going on. Again, the Social Flex it's the Social Flex LLC, which is an entertainment business. So hopefully we expand a little bit more on the entertainment side and do some other things. What else? Who else?
I'm not in there. I'm not in your brain, girl. I don't know.
I'm not even in my brain right now. So, other than that, I don't think we have too much else going on. We'll be back in 2 weeks, which I believe is the 27th. Where I think we're still discussing the topic, but I think it's going to be finances and relationships. And just because 25th, my bad, the 25th. It may be finances and relationships because I was told that is something that people want to have a discussion on, and how that
Finances.
Yeah, they said that finances
I want to
is
talk money with y'all.
they said that sometimes that's a big reason as to why relationships don't stay intact is because of finances. Some people are financial abusers, some people are financial hiders. So
Financially irresponsible.
that too. So
Too financially responsible.
so they said that they want to see that as a topic.
I don't think I got nothing.
The way that you can find us is we are on Facebook, YouTube. We'll be getting the Twitter and Instagram accounts up rolling, but it's the THA Social Flex. We may be also working on our website, thesocialflex.com, to get some more content out. But please go to our YouTube, The Social Flex. Please like, share, subscribe. Other than that, not too much else going on. Here at The Social Flex, we always do like to remind you to be blessed and a blessing.